Okay, in this video these are going to get a little bit more complicated than what we had been doing, okay? We have 9x to the second power minus 66x plus 21 equals 0. So we know, because we have the highest power is x to the second, that x has two answers in the equation. And we have x, because we have x to the second, and we've also got this x that isn't to the second, it would be to the first, so we have to apply our factoring properties. Okay. So in factoring properties, we need to see if we have the 0, which we do. You can put a check mark instead of set if you want. And now you have the x second, the x, and the constant. So we have 3 terms, so we want to look at the GCF. Now so far in 3 terms, we really haven't done the GCF. Well, that's going to change here today, okay? And then we make that second box much longer, and then we do the T-chart. And then you're going to want to always put what your A equals, okay, down there. Okay, so outside of my GCF, now we got 3 terms. Does the last one have x? No. Okay. Does the first term have a negative? No, it does not. 9, 66, and 21. So 9's your smallest number, so go find 9, and you need 66 and 21 in that row. So no, I don't see either one of them, so I go find 9 again. Here's 9, there's 21, and there's 66, so they're all in the 3rd row, okay? But you just put a 3, you're not going to put x, you're not going to put the negative. You can't put x because I don't see x there and you don't have a negative in front. So then, you're just going to divide by 3, you're not going to divide by x, okay? So then if you're not dividing by x, you set up your slots, x second, and then x, and then the constant, because those are going to all stay the same because you're not dividing the x's by anything. So in front of the x second, 9 divided by 3 is 3. Okay. Negative 66 divided by 3 is negative 22. And then 21 divided by 3 is 7. Remember, that's a negative right there. Now, here's what you do. Okay. Put that 3 over here. Just put it over here. Because when you do your T-chart, you don't want to see that there. Put it over there and then get rid of it. Now I do my ABC from here now, not from the top, okay? ABC. So I take my A times the C to find the top number, so it's going to be 3 times 7. They're both positives, and that's 21, which should be a positive. So 21 positives up top, so positive means it's a match, so put 2 signs at match. Oh yeah, also another thing. After you do the ABC, cross that top one out so you're not distracted by it, okay? You just want to be looking at these 3 things. And you are adding to whatever the B is, and that B is negative 22, okay? All right, now start dividing. 21 divided by 1 is 21. So negative 1 plus negative 21 is negative 22, so we found it, okay? Now, remember what we're going to do. We're going to set up 4 parentheses starting now off the T-chart. So you can put your negative 1 with your negative 21. And then A, you write x to the second. You go find your A. Your A is a 3. Okay? So you're going to still go x times x. But instead of putting a 1, you're going to put a 3. Now you see if those can simplify with your GCF. You're going to divide them simply. So 3 and 1. So 1 is smaller, so I work up the table. There's 1, 1 and 3. So that's just in 1's row, so it doesn't change. Now you go set that 3x minus 1 over there. And then 3 and 21. So 3, first time I see, working up the table, first time I see 3 is there, and there's 21 with it, so it'd be 3. So that does change. That's 1x minus 7 when you divide, okay? Then you bring that over here. Now, does this parentheses have x? No, it doesn't. It's just a 3. So it's a throwaway factor. You get rid of it, okay? And you go F1, F2 from here. Okay, if it doesn't have an x, it's a throwaway. So 3x minus 1 could equal 0, and then 1x minus 7 could equal 0. Okay, so we got times 3. We have to keep the 3. We add the 1. 3 times x would equal 1. Then divide each side by 3. 1 divided by 3 is not, it's not 3. Okay, that's what I get. You can write 0.3 repeating, or if you want to click second, PRB 1/3. Either one's okay. So either put this or this. I don't care which. Then over here, if you have 1 times, you take out the 1, okay? You don't need the 1 times. You need any other number you got to keep, but plus 7, because I'm going to get 7 here, and x is 7, because if you divide it by 1, 7 divided by 1 is still 7. Okay, so 1/3 and 7. Okay, next problem. 6x to the second power minus 10x minus 4 equals 0. So again, x has 2 answers because the highest power is a 2. It's also, there's an x without a power, so we have to use the factoring properties to solve. So that's when you make sure you're equal to 0. So how many terms you got? X second, x constant, you have 3. So 3, this is why it's important you do your GCF. GCF, then your constant. Now it's important you get the GCF if it's not 1, because in the T-chart it doesn't take as long, okay? See, if I would have taken 9 times 21, that would have been, yeah, bad. Okay, so x on the end. No, don't have x in the end. You don't have a negative in the front. Now 6, 10, and 4. So 4 is the smallest, so I work up. There's 4. 6 and 10 have to be with it, so no. Go find 4 again. There's 6, there's 10. So it's 2, okay? But just 2. Remember, we said we're not doing an x, we're not doing a negative, okay? So now I divide by 2 without any x's or any negatives. So if you're not dividing by an x, go slot it right here. So 6 divided by 2 is 3. And then that's negative 10 divided by 2, that's negative 5. And then negative 4 divided by 2 is negative 2. Now a couple things you do before you go to your T-chart. Cross out the original problem and go place the 2 over here. Then you cross it out. See, now I'm going to do my ABC right there. So I take A times C. So that's taking 3 times negative 2, and that's negative 6. So it's 6 negative, so that is a mismatch. Put positive, negative, and then put what we need to add to, which is the B, which the B is negative 5. You're always adding to the B. So 6 divided by 1 is 6. So then you add 1 plus negative 6, and that's negative 5. Okay? Alright, so you put A equals, okay? Now put positive 1, negative 6, and before you fill that in, put what your A is. It's the x second, and it's where I put A. It's 3. So I put x, just like always. We're still breaking that into x times x. Then we will attach the number 3 in front and try to simplify by dividing by the GCF. So 1 and 3. 1's the smaller of the two. So there's 1 and 3 in 1's row. So dividing by 1 just keeps it the same. Okay. So I put 3x plus 1, 3 and 6. So work your way up. There's 3, there's 6. That'd be in 3's row. So it's 1x minus 2. Okay? And you put that alongside. Now it's all set up. If any parentheses does not contain an x, that's a throwaway. Don't use it. F1, F2. So So 3x plus 1 could equal 0, or 1x minus 2 could equal 0. Okay, so you got multiplication by 3. You got to take out your plus 1 with a minus 1. 0 minus 1 is negative 1, but we still need to divide by the 3 now. This is not negative 3. Okay, if you take a smaller number divided by a bigger number, it's going to be a decimal. Negative 0.3 repeating. Or you can leave that and go second PRB, and it makes it negative 1/3. Either put one or the other, I don't care. Then times 1. Remember, if you have a multiplying number of 1, you can just get rid of it and just add the 2. So 0 plus 2 is 2. Okay, next problem. 8x to the second power plus 68x plus 84 equals 0. So there's two answers. You have x to the second and you have x to the first. Okay, so you need to apply your factoring properties. So the zero's there. Now I count the terms. Okay, so there's 3. It's a trinomial. So I need to break the trinomial into parts. So GCF and then the table. Okay. So out of the 3 terms, I don't see x at the end. The final term does not contain n. The first term does not have a negative, so no x, no negative out there. Okay. Then 8, 68, and 84. There's 8 for the first time. Is 68 in that row? No. Okay. And then go find 8 again. There it is again. Is 68 and 84 in that row? Well, there's 68 and there's 84. So it'd be in the 4th row. But no x with no negative. Okay. So since Hermsen is not dividing by an x, he's just going to slot it. Okay. Because he doesn't have to divide x's. Slot it if you're not going to put an x there. So it's going to be 2 x second. 68 divided by 4 is 17, and 84 divided by 4 is 21. So now what should you be doing? Crossing out the original, bringing your GCF 4 over here, and then crossing it out so you're not looking at anything else but this. So A, B, C. So you take A times C to find the top. That would be 2 times positive 21. And that's 42, so it's positive 42. And that's match again. Okay? Negative, negative. Remember, if it's a negative, it's a mismatch. Okay? All right, so start dividing. Know what you're trying to add to. You are trying to add to the positive 17. Okay. Okay, so 42 divided by 1 is 42. Negative 1 plus negative 42 is negative 43. Now, 42 divided by 2 equals 21. So 2, 21. Negative 21 plus 2 plus negative 21 is negative 23. Then 42 divided by 3 is 14. Now, if I add negative 3 plus negative 14, that's negative 17. Now, stop dividing. You just got to make it positive 17 by switching them both to the opposite sign. So positive, positive. So there you have it. So you put in your parentheses, positive 3, positive 14. Now, A is the x second coefficient. So go find your A, and that's a 2. Okay, so 2. So x, now I attach a 2 in front of them. So now simplify by dividing. So 2 and 3. Where do you see 2? Working bottom up. Well, there's 2, but it's 3's not in. 2 and 3 is 1. Okay, so it'd stay 2x plus 3. So you put 2x plus 3 right next to it. Now 2 and 14, go back to the first, from bottom up. First time I see 2 is there, and there's a 14. So this would be divided by 2. So that'd be 1x plus 7. Okay. This doesn't contain an x, so that's a throwaway. These do. So those are the ones I use. If something doesn't have x, you get rid of it. So 2x plus 3 equals 0, and then 1x plus 7 equals 0. So times 2 minus 3. You can't get rid of the times 2 until you'll have to divide on this one. 0 minus 3 is negative 3. Then you divide each side by 2. Okay. Negative 3 divided by 2 is negative 1.5. Okay. You can write that. See if you or if you like the fractions better, you go second PRB, negative 1.5. Either one works. I'm going to use a decimal on this one because I'm down with that. Now, multiplication by 1, you need to get rid of it, okay? And then take out your plus 7 with minus 7. 0 minus 7 is negative 7. See, I don't need to divide if it was a 1, because dividing by 1 doesn't really accomplish much. Okay, last problem. 24x to the second power plus 96x plus 90 equals 0. Okay, so there's two answers. There's x to the second, there's x to the first, and we have to factor. So your zero's there, you're set. Okay, or check it or something. You have three terms, trinomials, so it'd be GCF, followed by the table. You follow that up with the table. Now, out of the three terms, the last does not have x. The first does not have a negative, so no x, no negative. Do not put an x, don't put a negative, because that didn't have x, and that doesn't have a negative. 24, 96, and 90. So 24 is the smallest. So there's 24, 96, but then 90's got to be in that row, and it's not. So I go find 24 again. Right here, 24, 96 is there, 90's not. Go find your 24 again. Okay? Look right there, 24, 96, 90. So they're all in row 6. But remember, we already said we're not putting the x or the negative, it's just 6. So if you are not going to divide by an x, which we're not because I didn't put an x out there, you go x second, the x, and the constant. So 24 divided by 6 is 4. 96 divided by 6 is 16. 90 divided by 6 is 15. Now, you should, when you do the GCF, before you do the table, you got to do two things. Cross the original problem out, and then bring that 6 over here. And then ditch that. So now I'm only looking here. A, B, C. Okay? So A times C, we'd be taking 4 times positive 15. And that's positive 60. Okay? So 60 with a positive sign. Positives are match. And we have to add to whatever the B is, which is positive 16. Okay? So start dividing. 60 divided by 1 is 60. That is when you add those, that's negative 61, so it's not that. 60 divided by 2 is 30. When you add these, it's negative 32. We got to get positive 16. 60 divided by 3 is 20. Add those, no. 60 divided by 4 is 15. Negative 4 plus negative 15 is negative 19, but you're getting closer. 60 divided by 5 is 12, so you put 5, 12. Negative 5 plus negative 12 is negative 17. Oh, that's so close. 60 divided by 6 is 10, so 6 and 10. That's negative 16, okay? Negative 6 plus negative 10 is negative 16. To make it positive, you go in and change these. Positive, positive, okay? Now, always want to know what A is. So you're going to put your positive 6, your positive 10. Now go find where the a was labeled, 4x to the second. So x second, you go x times x, then you place a 4 in front of each x. So 4 and 6, so where's 4? There's 4, there's no 6. There's 4 again with 6, it's in 2's row. So we divide by 2. That's 2x plus 3. It's in, and you're like, how do you know that's in simplest form? Well, because 2 and 3 are only in row 1. Okay, so as soon as I get two numbers that the only place they appear together is in row 1, it's simplified. 4 and 10. So I'm going to divide, can't do 4 because 10's not in there. There's 4 and 10, so that would be 2. So it'd be 2x plus 5. Okay, that's a throwaway because there's no x. So F1, F2. And you set them each equal to 0 individually. So you have times 2. You got to get rid of your plus 3, minus 3, minus 3. 0 minus 3 is negative 3. Then if you divide each side by 2, you get negative 1.5. Or if you go second PRB, it's negative 1.5. I kind of like negative 1.5 better. Then times 2, get rid of your plus 5 with minus 5. 0 minus 5 is negative 5. Then you divide by 2. Negative 5 divided by 2 is negative 2.5, or second PRB would make negative 2.5.